Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is CeeChronicles and I post fragrance related content on this platform, so please consider subscribing and joining the family. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continued support. I'm gonna give you a maceration update of some of the Afnans that I have in my collection, as well as include some of the Afnans that I purchased decants of to test for you. I am unfortunately going to start with the one that's underwhelming to me, but it is a DNA that is very popular on the market, especially with the ladies. Why I say underwhelming is I didn't know that Afnan's 9 a.m. Perfume is, cut from the same cloth as My Way, and there's nothing wrong with My Way, but My Way is a fragrance, is one that has been sort of like presented over and over again. So this is a 2022 composition, and I don't know when the actual My Way was created, but I think it was around that time. This is a berry forward scent with, of course, those florals, but the Afnan one seems to kind of amp it up a little bit there on the black currant note. Okay, there is a tanginess to this fragrance, a bit of a greenness to this fragrance, but like I said, it is my least favorite just based on how this DNA has been repeated. But if you are after, easy fragrances to carry, crowd-pleasing fragrances, then you are going to love this. And of course, if you love that My Way, absolutely, this is just going to be easy for you to carry. It does have the longevity of what I get in most of the Afnan fragrances, which is something that I like about them, guys. If you haven't explored the house of Afnan, and no, this is not a paid promotion. If I was paid, I wouldn't be, here waving about a decant. I have actually added a couple of Afnans, to my collection that are also in the mail. 9 p.m. Perfume is another one that's on the way. I loved that fragrance, and I actually said to myself, I wish, I don't know why I was not even, thinking of purchasing that fragrance. And I have that coming in full size. The Afnan fragrances are of a quality that I would say is a perfect blend to an extent. I don't get screechiness, from the Afnan fragrances. So if you haven't explored the house of Afnan and you are one of those that are not going with the formal Afnan, yes, indeed, does seem like a clone house, but they are not usually in the hurry to jump and, give us clones, right? Now, the house of Afnan gave us Kiana Crush, a great interpretation to that Queen of Silk, right? Queen of Silk is a DNA that I absolutely love. I actually have it in its original form, but I have it in travel size, right? So I can tell you one or two things about Queen of Silk. And when there were inspirations flying about, I was one of those people that wanted to get them. And I have the Maison Alhambra one, which veers off mothballs, but also will give you a little bit of a too happy interpretation to that Queen of Silk. And I have this one. I've also come here, I think, with a French Avenue one that is inspired by the same house. But this Kiana Crush, absolutely amazing. It macerated to something that is so beautiful. Everything is in sync, guys. Blending that saffron note with that passion fruit flower, giving it the richness that I can equate to the real thing. And of course, they nailed that insincere chord, which I feel Maison Alhambra kind of, missed it there. So this is an honorable mention. It is a maceration update since I am doing or talking about Afnan fragrances in this particular video. My next up, guys, is going to be Afnan 9 p.m. Perfume. This is the one that I ended up buying in full size, although the bottle is on its way. Amazing fragrance, guys. This is a rose scented scent. Okay, it is gemmy. It is indeed an opulent floral, right? It's going to present the purple florals vividly there. It's going to have an airiness as well because it does include, the citrus is there as well as the apple. And I love how you can smell the notes as they transition in this fragrance. It's one that presents everything. Yes, you will lose, that berry blast gradually, but you will indeed smell it almost immediately. In this 9 p.m. Perfume, I get a similarity to Atomic Rose. By initio, I was trying the two side by side, and guys, these two fragrances smell similar. Atomic Rose is not a fragrance that I have in full size, but the travel size here was enough for me to test, both out. And obviously for the price of this, I ended up getting this, and it's on its way. Once we have a full bottle, I may revisit this particular one with the other 9 a.m.s and 9 p.m.s that I have to give you just a one sit down video of what they're doing. But so far, this is a beautiful scent, guys. If you're looking for something fruity, fun, sweet, energizing, then definitely get yourself this Afnan 9 p.m. Perfume. Of course, if you can afford to get the real thing, that's okay too, right? So I love this one. Remember, I did tell you that I'm going to give you maceration updates. This is one that's on its way out because it's almost finished, and I wanted to tell you about it before it leaves the collection. Afnan Delicious Bouquet. Remember, I said Afnan does not rush when it comes to presenting some of these DNAs. This was one that came a little bit after some houses had given us a lot of the renditions to that DNG devotion, but even then, this went straight to my number one in terms of what it was doing. I do have Devotion in its original formulation from the House of Dolce & Gabbana, and I can almost say, you can buy this or that, right? This is so good, guys. It's sweet though. You have to love very sweet caramelized notes, and it is somewhat of a commitment. Once you spray this, it's going to stick. It does have this thing where it sticks on clothing the whole day. You're going to smell yummy. And as for the maceration update, it's just gotten better. It's just gotten sweeter. The caramel is even more highlighted. So that is the maceration update of Delicious Bouquet from the house of Afnan. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the maceration of this one. This is a fragrance I had in my collection since October. It is obviously gotten richer. Okay, this is a bold yellow floral. This is a feminine scent. It is even mature to an extent, and every time I spray this, I think you can see, based on just the dent, that I haven't done much with it. Not because I don't like it, but it is one of those that really pushes and pulls me there. But I just wanted to throw it in there in terms of the maceration update to say this is one of those that even when I got it the first time, I would say it was almost presenting something that was rich enough, and now it's only gotten richer. But it is a bold yellow floral. It is Linked for Women by Afnan. We have the last one as Vanifollia. Now it looks like 2026 is going to be a year where a lot of these houses are going to be dropping vanilla scents, and most of them seem to be going again for that vanilla Vanifollia, right? So this is another take to it. This is from the brand Hakayat. I noticed that my decant here from Hygie Scent actually says Hamidi, so I don't know whether Hakayat is going to be a subsidiary of Hamidi or it was an error, but it does say Vanifolia, and when Hygie Scent sends you decants, they usually put a list of them, so I cross-checked, and this is indeed the Hakayat one. Okay, so this is a take to, again, that Vanifollia fragrance, which I do not have, but I can certainly say this gives me multiple layers of vanilla, a lot of vanilla in this. So this is very vanilla forward. It also has a sweetness to it, and that vanilla also presents as creamy, just as what I was getting with the Maison Asra one. But in this, when I did a test where towards the end of the day where I had them side by side, this one seemed to be pushing forward sort of like woody-ish, even tobacco, just a tobacco nuance. Not that I would say this is a tobacco scent, but a tobacco nuance of a tonka in the midst of that vanilla. So this one is going to have the woods and the spices and that tonka to tie it, and some of you guys will then perceive the differences there. But of course they vibe almost similar, although in this I get that darkness because of how it then takes the direction of the tonka in the dry down. So if you're looking again for that vanilla Vanifollia DNA, and this Hakayat one, Vanifollia is the one that is accessible to you, or the one that you feel is affordable, then yeah, you wouldn't be that far off. The vanilla is beautiful in this. It could also have vanilla caviar because yes, it is really flowy there, and the woods are soft, save for that tobacco nuance or the spiky nuance that comes behind that vanilla in the dry down. And because this is not a fragrance that lists that note, I would say it's probably a tobacco nuance bouncing off tonka, because tonka can be green, it can be grassy, it can be woody, it can have that tobacco-y accord without making it feel like a tobacco fragrance. So yeah, a nice one. I did not feel the need to add this. I think I'm still okay with my decision to add the Maison Asra one. I think that one is nice, but this is not bad at all, guys. This is not like a fragrance that's going to throw you off. So that's it for today's video, guys. We had a couple of Afnans here, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. Perfume, and I'm going to bring you a cluster of more Afnans because I am loving the quality. And when I love the quality of a certain brand, I tend to add a lot of them in my collection. So the 9 p.m. line was one that I wasn't really paying attention to. I have got the 9 p.m. elixir for men, but that is as far as I went. Now I am exploring the other ones and I'm absolutely loving them. So as soon as I have all of them in the mail, I'm going to present a video to you and then we are going to conclude on those. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much guys for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.